We have to make sure that the politicians are held accountable.
Every administration had the ability to put a ban on asbestos.
When it comes to asbestos, it really is about power, money, and politics.
Courtney, that was beyond inspiring, and I know your mother is monumentally proud. When you hear stories like Courtney and you realize that Courtney isn't alone, Eric's going to share his story and Kim's going to share hers, but the power of our story is important. I want to share just briefly where our progress and challenges are right now with these changing political times. So again, you know about ADAO, but this is just for those who are just tuning in now. ADAO is built on education, advocacy, and community support. We are so proud this year. I'm just going to go back about 12 months and recap some of this stuff that we have accomplished and challenges that we face, and no vulgarities, I promise. So we're really proud that we have the Alan Reinstein Ban Asbestos Now Act introduced by both the Senate and the House. This is a magnificent opportunity for us to join our country to the north, Canada, and finally ban asbestos. We have early endorsees that include labor, public health, NRDC, EWG, as I say, big gorillas in the Congo. People get this. Just yesterday, the Breast Cancer Prevention Partners emailed me, and they said they want to support our ban bill. So it's not just about asbestos victims. We work hard, as Courtney said, and policy is important for prevention. So we did have our annual resolution. It was the 14th time that our senators have unanimously voted to pass the resolution. What does that mean? Why is that important? All of these facts go into the congressional record. And let me tell you, it becomes abundantly easier when we ask those senators, thank you so much for supporting the resolution. Did you read it? And in a nice way, we'll present the facts that support the ban. And we, this year, using social media and a little bit of public pressure, we thank the Surgeon General for issuing a tweet. But we're going to go back and go for the warning that he's supposed to do. But in the meantime, with 500,000 followers, a tweet is still worth mentioning. We got a restitution award. That means the state of Washington believed in our work, and we've been building a website. Thanks to Jessica, who's over on my left, she built these great graphics. We have the first collaborative international website where if you're a homeowner, you're a worker, you're a business, you can come and learn. Find out where it is, what do you need to do. Learn from us. And yes, the EPA, Dr. Frank Schlupp from Philadelphia, we had AFL, CIO, Patrick Morrison, Barry Castleman, all the rest. We had about 5 different organizations represented at that meeting. Very important to tell the EPA that they must evaluate all risks of asbestos, including legacy and the Libby Amphibole. And it was a powerhouse meeting. And Patrick, thank you for making time for that meeting. So what are the challenges? Well, you can bet the industry stands very firm in their heels with their spin and propaganda. So yes, through my research, I was able to identify that the only industry using asbestos, the chlor-alkali industry, actually doubled the estimated amount of asbestos imported, raw asbestos, to use in the chlorine diaphragm process. So instead of 340 tons, which trust me is enough, they in 2016 imported 702 metric tons. 702. It's one industry, chlor-alkali industry, and of course 95%, Fernanda will tell you more, came from Brazil in 2016. But she has some good news to share because that won't be happening in the future. So obviously these are old sacks of asbestos, and Tony has a great exhibit on my right-hand side, but just think about it. Instead of using less, the industry decided to double down on death. And how and why do they do it? They continue to tell me and others that they have safe and controlled use. They have safe and controlled use. That is preposterous, criminal, and reprehensible to stand in front of us and tell us that. And for anybody who's here, and there are people who support so-called safe use of cryostal, you're wrong. You're abundantly wrong. And you can write that down and take it to your board. So we are still working with the EPA to truly get asbestos evaluated. We obviously know that legacy is a problem, conditions of use. The EPA is changing that. They're excluding the Libby Amphibole, which Dr. Black will talk more about that. And the industry wants, based on Canada, to have an exemption. Yeah, can we have an exemption for 7 more years? They have known Dr. Castleman is an expert for over 100 years that asbestos was linked to disease, and they want more. We say no. We say enough, 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 enough. So what are we going to do about it? We build infographics. We raise awareness because we've never had more natural disasters. And Pat will speak to that as well. I mean, we've had the hurricanes, the fires in California. When these structures that are contaminated fall, there's asbestos exposure. And we need to educate the public, not in a frightening way, but so they can be better prepared. And for those of you who follow my blogs and the news, Claire's was in the news twice in December, and then just recently, and through independent product testing, asbestos was identified as a contaminant. This is kids' makeup coming from China, and we don't have a ban, so it's legal. And as upset about this as a mother as I am and a public health advocate, this is the shiny object. Don't be fooled. This isn't where the risk is. The risk is where Patrick works and others and the raw asbestos. So I want to end on the good news, and I am so tickled. Sorry, that's like an old word, but I am. I am so thrilled that Marcia and Fernanda are here again, and I got to tell you, I'm going to swear. They have some of the most badass attorneys that are so great. They're prosecutors. They get in there, they fight, they look for those workers, they don't give up. And they have been able to pull together with the polluter pays principle, so they put on conferences to educate the public and bring in the victims. Brazil is utterly amazing, and I stand in awe of what you do and what you have accomplished and how you reach out to all of us. So from the laggard country in the world, America, I'm hoping that we can catch up to Croatia, is what one of Dr. Castleman's lines. I'm hoping we can catch up to Brazil. And I thank you all for attending today, and I hope the conversations in the hallway prove to be as inspirational as the content that you hear, because I truly believe that we can make change happen. Thank you.